Welcome to Bump Set Chat, the podcast where volleyball professionals come on and share their stories, experiences, and advice. Today, I'm super excited from Quinnipiac and from Turkey. I have Damla Gunes. Welcome.
Hi, everybody.
So glad you're able to take the time to come share your story. And the way we start things off is we do 3 random questions. So are you ready?
Yep.
All right, first one. What was the last TV show or movie you watched?
Oh, I watched the last movie. I actually watched it yesterday, and it was 21. It was about a movie that was about blackjack and like the math student that goes to Harvard,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
All right. Second question. So, you're from Turkey. When you got home, what was that one meal you were looking forward to the most to having?
Definitely we say like the naan kebab, and it's really common actually. It's known, but it's so different in here. Like it's original.
Yeah.
So that was like the my top meal.
All right. And then, speaking of flying, are you a aisle person or a window person?
Aisle. I have to like get out and walk and go to the bathroom a lot of times because I drink a lot of water.
Yeah. All right. So,
Yeah.
welcome to the podcast. And first of all, congrats on being, setter of the year for the MAC conference. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. Hard work pays off, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
really an honor to just like be nominated.
Excellent. And how did this past season work out for you guys? How was it?
We had our ups and downs, I think, as most of teams did. We always start like in a rough patch because we get a lot of new players, especially international students, and they're adjusting times. Like my time when I was a freshman, it kind of takes a little bit of time. And like I said, when we talked in the spring, we don't really play games. We just like practice. And while you're not like playing all the time, I sometimes lose like that experience in 7 months, let's say. So I think starting the season was not really good. But then we took that as a challenge and accepted that. And we were like, okay, we're going to flip the switch. And the conference went really well. I think it was one of the most winningest season of Quinnipiac in the MAC. But it should have been like that, to be honest, because our team is pretty good, in my opinion, for the MAC. So, and we had a lot of injuries, unfortunately. Our MAC preseason player of the year got injured.
Oh
She
no.
tore her ACL and MCL, yeah. And that was like a big hit for us because at that time, like she was our best player. But we stood together, and I mean, losing at the finals, it's really a bummer, and it's like it still makes me really sad and upset. But I'm trying to look more on the positive side
Yeah.
than the negative.
All right. So let's go back to the beginning. So you're from Turkey originally. When did you start
Mhm.
playing volleyball?
Fifth grade, when I was 11, I guess. I was swimming before, but I didn't really like swimming, but my parents forced me to do so. But I'm glad I did swimming. And when we started playing, it was just like the love and like I took the ball in my hands. I was like, oh my God, like this is a sport that I've been waiting to do my whole life. And it kind of went on like from there.
Nice. And now, where does volleyball rank in Turkey from a popularity standpoint? Up in Connecticut, where you play and where I'm from, it competes with a lot of other sports, whether it's softball for girls, it's lacrosse, baseball. So where does volleyball rank in Turkey?
No, right now for girls, I think it's the number one sport, but overall, I think it's the number three sport. It's soccer, basketball, and volleyball. Because our volleyball, like, senior team is really good, and I think they're ranked number 3 or 4 in the world. So their success really inspired people to just like start watching volleyball. And I know so many people, like my mom's friends, they were like coming to us and asking for advice on like how to be a good volleyball player, or like, how to do this. But it's not that easy
Right.
actually, like as people think it is. But yeah, it's really popular, and I love that because it's a great sport. I
It
mean,
is, yeah. And now, speaking of it being a great sport, what is the hook volleyball has on you? Why is it, like you said, you started out swimming, but once you touch that volleyball, it's like, yeah, this is my sport. Why? What is it about volleyball?
I think it was about being aggressive in a way that you're not touching the other side. You have a net that like you cannot be in physical contact with your opponent, but you're still allowed to be aggressive and like yell and just when I was playing like my first couple of games, it's like when you get a point, it's like, oh, you won the, I don't know, Olympics.
Yeah.
It's like you were cheering like that. So I think that's like kind of what makes it special for
Yeah.
me.
Excellent. And now, over here stateside, the kids are playing volleyball in school and club volleyball. Is that the sort of the same mechanism you guys have over there? You have, are you guys playing in school or really it's club? And I think club over there is a lot different because club eventually leads you to the pro path as well.
Yeah, it's club is really, really serious. Our club season is actually 10 months, exactly like the pro season.
Wow.
So we start on, let's say, August, like preseason. The games start at late September and it goes on like that. But at the same time, we also played school. But school is also important, but school is not as important as club because, like you said, club kind of makes you go play professional right away. And that's like the path that people choose to come. Like if they want to come to the United States, it's either like, oh, high school is done, so am I going to play professional or am I going to go somewhere else and get my education and also play?
Okay.
So that also leads to like why we chose to come to United States, because I think it's a really cool opportunity for us to get an education and play at a very decent level at the same time. But yeah, club is, it's really competitive and it's super high level.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my next question is, why did you end up coming to the States? So it was to continue your education and play ball. And what was your path? How did you end up at Quinnipiac?
Huh. I guess it kind of worked out. So we signed with an agency back in Turkey. They have connections like with Greece, Turkey, and United States. So we signed with them because we trusted them, and they were like, we made our highlight videos. And then coaches contacted us, and if they wanted to see our full video, we sent them our full matches, and it kind of went on from like that. But Quinnipiac was like the only college that we spoke with the head coach.
Yeah.
Like the head coach wanted us, so that was like a big, I guess, like a step that Quinnipiac took on us because it's like if you're speaking with the head coach, it means they really want you. And when we spoke with Coach Kyle Robinson, he really emphasized that it's not even just about volleyball, but it's about building like a foundation, like building like a family,
Mm-hmm.
because we're gonna be away a lot from our family. But that's what he wanted us to like make a family. So that's why we chose Quinnipiac, and because he was never talking about like, oh, like you have to be this good of a volleyball player, because he in his mind he already knows.
Yeah.
So that's why we chose Quinnipiac. And also my sister, he offered both me and my sister, and it means a lot for us to be in the same school.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to bring that. You talk about us, and you have a twin sister that plays at Quinnipiac
Yes,
as well.
yes. I mean that really helps me so much. When I get anxious on the court, I look at her, and sometimes like even when I get sick, she just like takes care of me.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just really cool to have someone to speak your own language
Mm-hmm.
when you're, getting tired of speaking English.
Yeah, yeah. I had Spiros Hakkasan, who's from Greece, and he played at University of Hawaii. And yeah, going from you're 18 or 17 or 18 years old, leaving your country, going to college. College is a big step from high school to college. Volleyball, huge step. Different country, leaving your family. English is not your main language, so it's a lot of adjustments. So it must be really great, like you were just talking about, to have your sister there with you to sort of help you not feel so homesick.
Definitely, definitely. And especially as a freshman, it was so hard because my brain would literally shut off after 8 p.m. I was like, I can't speak English anymore. But it was so funny. And especially freshman year, I think was the most tough one. But having each other and having keeping the perspectives of like why we came here was like the biggest thing that kept us going.
Yeah. And you know, that's the other thing with being a freshman. You not only are you leaving your country, coming to, you know, college, but volleyball starts off right away. It's a fall sport. You hit the
Really.
ground running before the kids are even, you know, all the kids are at school.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the like weirdest parts I felt when I first came here because back in Europe, you go somewhere and for at least a month, you have a training schedule that's like kind of not relaxed, but like you have a full month to prepare or a month and a half to prepare for upcoming matches. And the matches, like you play once or twice per week, not like three, four times sometimes, or you don't play back to back games. If it's not like conflicting with school, but it's more like a longer season,
Hmm.
which kind of you have to like keep your body healthy to maintain healthy in that long 10 a month season. But I felt like my body was in a worse situation in 4 months
Yeah. Oh,
because it was so much impact on your body. It's so much impact.
yeah. And now, you know, when you came over, did you notice a big difference in the level of play from coming from club and now you're playing, you know, American college D1 level?
to, to be honest, yes. To like a little bit about like the opponent that you're playing, it's kind of like especially in our conference, I think everybody can beat everybody if you're not paying attention or if you're not on your good day. I think that's why I like our conference. You have to be locked in all the time. In here, it was not like that. There were a lot of teams that was like really easy to us,
Hmm.
but from our club level to this our school level, there's still a difference, but it's not that big.
Yeah. And did you notice a different style of play? Like, you know, I know some countries play, like Japan is very, you know, very technical versus, you know, maybe Brazil is very ground and pound. You know, when you come from Turkey,
Yeah,
your style of play versus what you were seeing when you came to the side.
definitely. It's the style of play is really different. We used to have like different defense styles back home. Like a high ball would be a different rotation of defense, and a quick ball would be a different rotation of defense. But we don't do that here. That was like pretty weird for me to
Yeah.
adjust it to first, and like the back row setter can dump even with two hands is not allowed back home,
Yeah.
or the ceiling rule is like you cannot play. Those are a couple of things that I was like I had to like adjust. But now I'm here. I finished my third year and it feels really easy.
Yeah. Nice. And now, you know, if you could go back to, you know, freshman Damla, what advice would you tell her?
I would tell her that everything will be fine. Just breathe, you'll figure it out. And just keep working your ass off, and it'll pay off.
Yeah. And your 3 years at Quinnipiac so far, what have been some of the highlights for you?
Definitely winning the match 2022 at Disney. I'd never been to Disney in my life before because I mean I'd never been to America before
Yeah.
coming here, and definitely winning at Disney is number one.
Yeah.
And other thing would be like the friends I made. It's so diverse. It's amazing. I have like friends from Europe that I met in America. I have we have teammate from Brazil. I love her, and like just the diversity I see around and like the languages I hear around is just I like that. And the traveling that I did would be my third. I went to Miami a couple of times just for spring break,
Hmm.
and with the volleyball team, like we went to Wisconsin, like playing at Wisconsin, and that was so cool
Yeah.
because it was packed, it was sold out. There was more than 7,000 people,
Wow.
and even when we lost, like bad, they were still clapping for us after the game. There were little girls who were trying to high five us. that was a wholesome moment.
Nice. So two things off that. So first thing, so you hadn't visited Quinnipiac's campus until you first came.
No, yeah.
Now, what was that experience like? Now was that your first time to the U.S. too? Was when you came to college?
hmm I was so excited. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna post this on my social media. I was already thinking like stuff like that.
Yeah.
When we went to New York City for the first time, it's like there are people that take those things for granted, but they can be like someone else's dream. So like coming to New York City, I was like, wow, I'm actually like accomplished one of my dreams. As a child, like I was like, okay, I want to go see New York. Like
Yeah.
that's so cool. And now I can hop on a train and just go to New York City. The campus was so much bigger than I expected. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I didn't even like walk through Google Maps. I kind of wanted it to be like something different, and
Yeah.
especially coming off from a high school, I didn't really know what to expect,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a different culture. So it was definitely a birth shock.
Yeah. And now, what food have you discovered over here that you just like you've fallen in love with?
Oh, Mexican food.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I love Mexican
Uh,
food.
and now you talked about the diversity of the campus and your players. On your roster, you've got girls from, like you said, Brazil, another player from Turkey, some from Hawaii. They're all over the place.
Mhm. Yes, yes, and I think that's what makes us unique. We we basically find a common language to speak in our team. First of all, because we have girls from Turkey, Brazil, and Italy from overseas, and Hawaii and Texas and
Yep.
Kentucky from America, and those are still really far places like Florida. So, and they're really different cultures. So, I think that's, but also like like I said, what's makes our team really cool,
Yeah.
and I can speak to one of them and just gain a knowledge that I haven't heard on anywhere.
Right. And now, when it comes to playing, do you have any pregame rituals or routines?
I mean, I guess making my hair at usually the same would be my routine, and I usually like make my hair, put my AirPods. I have a playlist that I listen before practices or games, and kind of like pumps me up
Yeah.
and gives me motivation. Nothing really crazy.
All
Like I go
right.
to the ATR, get my treatment, listen music, do my hair and makeup a little, and sometimes I close my eyes and do a visualization. But that's when we're singing the national anthem. I just close my eyes and like visualize the result and like my setting, my defense, my serving, and a couple of stuff. So then the referee blows the whistle and then we go.
Yeah. Excellent. And now, during the season, are there any dates circled on the calendar? Like you can't wait for this game, or, senior night's always special.
I mean, this year, because it's gonna be my senior year, yeah, definitely day. I'm sure I'm gonna cry. But apart from that, to be honest, not really. But I'm always so excited about the first home game. That's like my like go. I guess that's my day. I
Yeah.
guess first home game, because that's when we don't play non-conference games at home,
Mm-hmm.
because our coach wants us to travel and see places and also like build resilience,
Yeah.
because it's hard, it's tough to like travel for 5 weeks back
Mm-hmm.
to back, and that builds like toughness on you, and I respect it, I understand that, but when we come home and it's like it's amazing.
Nice. And now, who's the joker on that team? Who's the one person on your team that can crack the tension when, things are stressed out? Who's the one that you can always like, yeah, she's going to say something that's going to crack us all up.
um I think Milena, the Brazilian girl,
Mm-hmm.
she, especially when she first came here, it was like she would say something that would make us laugh because of the way she said it.
Mm-hmm.
And there were times like she would just say like the most outrageous stuff, and we would just be look at her. I was like, "What did you just say?" I just start laughing,
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's her.
All right. You're coming back to the States shortly. When you get back here from a volleyball standpoint, what will you guys be doing? Because your coaches can't really train with you or anything like that. Are you going to be basically just
Yeah.
focusing on weights, or will you be getting together with the girls and just, playing some scrimmages?
So since till the spring break for our 8 hour limit, we do 5 hours of lifting. So 5 days in the weight room and three individual practices in a week. So mine usually goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I do in the like setters go from 9 to 10, and outside hitters go from 10 to 11. And Tuesday it's different positions. We do like that till the spring break, and after the spring break, we still lift 5 times a week, and then we practice 4 to 5 times a week as a team.
Yeah. Ah, okay. And now, since you've been here, have you played any beach volleyball?
Yes, actually, there's a court here in my city that's like professional beach tournaments happen. You pay a little bit to just like play, but we know someone that works there. So instead of giving us an hour, they usually give us like 90 minutes. And that's plenty of time for beach
Yes,
volleyball.
absolutely.
So in the summer, I also play here. Like not like I don't compete, but just for fun. And I think it's like really different actually, like beach volleyball. But it made my defense, I think, so much better
Hmm.
playing at beach. And yeah, going to Miami, we played there, but just for fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, as a setter, what is your favorite set? Is it, setting somebody out of the back row, a slide, or a shoot?
Mm, I think that's a really hard question. I never thought about that.
Or do you
Um,
prefer getting that, you're going up and you're taking the set off the net, but you dump and you get that kill, or, the kill. Is that more rewarding, or doing that perfect set is more rewarding?
I think getting your point is more rewarding because I think as a high level setters, we should be delivering high level sets. Like especially for my size, when I get a block or when I dump and I score, and um or when I get an ace, because ace I think is like the serving is the only individual thing that we do in volleyball. So
Yep.
when I get an ace, it's like okay, it's my like my it's just my point.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely, I love setting the slide because I think you can with the slide you can use the middle from anywhere.
Hmm.
Like if you just put the tempo on the net and push the ball out to the antenna, then and especially if you have a good hitter, middle blocker that could just like use hands, go cross or go line, that's perfect set.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, as a setter, you've played a couple of years before the new double rule contact came into place. What was your thoughts on,
Yeah,
playing this past season where, like somebody did a bad set on the other side? You're like, oh my God, that's so bad. Where's the whistle? Oh, shoot. Nope. New rule.
yeah. I mean, I think it happened on our side too. It was like somebody really made a bad set, and it was like, oh, what are we gonna do now? And everyone's like waiting for the referee to blow the whistle, but no one's did. And it's like, oh, it's a little awkward situation. But I understand why this rule came,
Hmm.
and didn't really affect me because
Yeah.
so there were people who said, oh, like the now what a setter is gonna do. But the setter's job is not just not to double.
Right.
There you run the offense, you make the structures. It's like and you serve, you block, you dig, and there are a lot of components to your position,
Yep.
and it's just not doubles.
Yep.
So I don't think it really affected me. It's just like okay, now
Yep.
that's a new rule.
Yep.
Maybe it even relieved me in like bad situations, like if I would, let's say, last year I would use a bump set
Hmm.
on that situation, and now I can use my hands because I'm like, okay, there's no double anyway.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And now, from a practice standpoint, what is your least favorite drill your coach runs?
I I don't really like the drill that I have to like come off the block and run like set, but not in a like we're playing sixes,
Yeah.
but they're just this side is my side is attacking. I don't really like that because I think I put myself extra pressure because also it's usually we play like the other team that's not the girls that's not on the starting six play there.
Yeah.
They have higher score on the scoreboard. Let's say it's
Okay. Yep.
22-19. So we play from there. And you have to get the first kill to get the point.
Oh, okay.
So that kind of like that's I actually like that in a way that it's like it's preparing you for an actual game situation.
Yep.
But I think sometimes I get nervous when we can't score because I think it's my problem. And sometimes usually it's a setter's fault.
Yeah.
And I take that.
Oh. And now, over the years, what were some of the little things that have helped you be a better setter?
Footwork for sure. I did so much footwork since my freshman year, especially in the spring semester. I always work on my footwork because everybody thinks it's from like above here, but if you don't go to the ball and take your like position perfectly, then there's little less chance that you're gonna set that ball perfectly.
Yeah.
And trusting myself on like a dumps. I used to be like, oh, like I'm a small setter and I'm not a lefty, but I love to score and I love to be aggressive. And when I dumped, I scored like 90% of the time. So, but I was still like skeptical,
Mm-hmm.
and especially when you first come to like when I was a freshman, I was like, oh, like I don't know if coach is gonna like this or something. But I just had to like get out of my own way. That's like the things I think I use, like get out of your own way,
Yeah.
so that I like open myself to make mistakes and grow. And that will connect to my third thing that I stopped seeing mistakes as like a bad thing or like defeats like a really bad thing. But because sometimes it's just those are the times that you like look at your video and say like, what am I doing? Like I'm such a better player than this. And you just you have to like change something in your mind and you see like what you do wrong
Mm-hmm.
because you pay more attention and then you decide you want to change that and then it kind of takes time, but you're gonna have to make uncomfortable comfortable after some time.
Yeah. All right. And then adding on to that, if a young setter is watching this video, how can they develop a better volleyball setter IQ?
I think watching professional volleyball, especially high level setters, like the best setters in the world, I still when I'm watching them, I still get goosebumps because the things they do is just not like good setting. I think that's what separates good setter from a great setter. If you can do more than what a good setter can do, like um taking the block or dumping more or getting more blocks or your defense might be amazing. I think that's what separates you. And my thing would be just not just focus on their setting, but all aspects of their lives. Like maybe they could play ping pong to, you know, um, contribute on their reflexes for defense,
Yeah.
and that could still pay off.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Speaking of setting, I saw this. I don't know if you saw this. I think it was a setter from Italy. She went up to set and she flipped her hands this way and did a back set. I was like,
Yes.
that was sick.
Yeah, I think that's Maya Ogmanovic. She plays in the Italian league, but she's Serbian, and she's my number one setter that
Yeah.
I always watch, and she's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and speaking of, continue talking about setting, I had Jacob Pastor on who plays for Team USA. He was practicing with the guys. It was his first practice, and Micah Christensen set him sets, and he goes, "Oh my God, they're the best sets in the world." And he said after the practice, Micah came over to him to apologize because one set was 6 inches from where it should be. And I was like, "Wow, that's
Wow.
crazy."
Yes, yes. I mean, they are amazing. I keep watching their videos, like Micah Christensen. He's just brilliant,
Yep, absolutely.
and I think that also, like what you said, goes to taking credibility and taking accountability as a setter, it's such an important thing. Because sometimes maybe it's not even your fault. You gave them you gave them a really good set, but the block was there anyways, and they got blocked. So you can just say like, "Oh, like my bad, I didn't see the block there," and take that responsibility on yourself, and that it will make your hitter feel so much better about themselves.
Yep, absolutely. And now some fun questions. I had Eric Shoji on a while ago, and him and Taylor Averill have this thing, what's the toughest position in volleyball? So,
Oh,
what do you think is the toughest position in volleyball?
it's definitely centers.
Absolutely. I agree
I
100%.
I might be biased, but it's I also think being an outside hitter is super hard because you usually get the junk sets and you have to play like back row defense, especially in overseas. But if you like running an offense, sometimes it's really hard because both teams are always have a tactic to close the block or defend you. So as a setter, if you're like hitters are not scoring, it's kind of they kind of put it on you.
Hmm.
It doesn't really matter if you're setting good or bad. So I think that is why setter is.
Okay. So now I got an even better question. So a few weeks ago, I had Christian Huron, who's the PME volleyball guy with all these TikToks. So last year he was doing the VNLs, and he started asking players, "What is the easiest position in volleyball?"
Oh,
So now let's see what you think is the easiest position in volleyball.
um, I mean, I think about two positions, but I think it's right side.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's right side because I was gonna say a libero or a right side, but being a libero is also such a big responsibility because you're in charge of the whole defense or
Hmm.
back court, and there's just so much room that's left for you. So definitely right side because you're not passing,
Yeah.
and right sides are usually tall and good at blocking.
Right. Yeah.
So they are usually relied as a big hitters, so that might put a little bit of pressure on them.
Yeah.
But I think their job is just score.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I had Mason Briggs on, who's a libero for Team USA, and he said the toughest position was his, and he was like, "I only have one job. I can't serve. I can't block. My passes need to be perfect." I was like, "Okay, I'll
Yeah,
give you that, but I think the setter or
yeah.
the middle has the toughest spot." So now, away from volleyball, what are some of the things you enjoy doing?
I love reading, and I actually read a couple of books about like mental performance and like sports performance, and I think those really helped me actually in when I was like just in college. Because sometimes like whatever, however healthy you are, like people can come to you and say like, oh, like you're doing amazing and all this stuff. But sometimes it's just mentally really hard to be a student athlete, and
Hmm.
it's so those there were a couple of books that really helped me keeping that perspective. And I love watching movies and just series. I think that's also why my English kind of got really on a better level,
Hmm.
especially before I came to US, because the only thing you hear is like their conversation
Yeah.
and like how they use the phrases in certain situations. So that really helped me, and I like learning new languages, but it's not like I am putting my 100% on it.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, like I go on Duolingo. I'm taking a couple of classes, and in a way that I can, if something happens in that country, maybe I can help myself
Yeah.
out. That's it.
Yeah, speaking of languages, coming to the US, you have people from the South and Texas. They have a different accent, or somebody
Oh
from
yeah,
Minnesota or California. It's not just learning English, learning all the different slang words that go along with it.
yes, definitely. But like I said, because our team was so diverse and
Hmm.
we had a lot of girls from different parts of the US, it's like I kind of picked it up easier thanks to them because they were literally like giving me lessons
Yeah.
and giving us lessons, being like, this means this. I'm like, okay, I got it.
Nice. And now, for those potential people in high school right now thinking about, playing in college, if they're, why would they pick Quinnipiac? in your opinion?
Um, I think it's definitely that we care. Like the program really cares, and it's not just the players and the team. It's just like everybody involved in the area cares. Like the janitors, the boss of Quinnipiac, the president, and our obviously coaching. Really, like we just care to be like not even about winning, but we just care about taking this program to a higher level. And that's actually why, also another reason why we chose Quinnipiac, because it was like, okay, we want to go to a team that we can like play and take this team to a higher level and take this team in the NCAA tournament and maybe win a couple of rounds and who knows.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the mentality and that's why.
All right. And what are you studying at Quinnipiac? We didn't even ask that one.
It's okay. I'm majoring in applied business and I'm minoring in CIS. But we have this program called 3+1. So in 3 years you get your bachelor's, and in the last year you get your MBA.
Nice.
So I'm actually on that program. So I'll be graduating in May of this upcoming May, actually, with my bachelor's.
And then what's next for you? Are you looking to play pro after you're done?
Yeah, definitely. I want to go pro. And I already told this to my coaches, and I think most of my team and my family, and I think everybody knows this.
Excellent.
But yeah, like there's nothing to hide, and I just want to continue because I just love this sport so much.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't think I can just stop it.
All right. Thank you so much for doing this podcast. And before you go, like with past guests, I look for you to recommend somebody in your volleyball circle that you think would have a good story to come on.
I would say Bailey Brashear.
Okay.
She just transferred to Morehead State. She's a middle blocker, and she's from Kentucky. I mean, we came here, we came to Quinnipiac at the same time. We had a really good relationship, and yeah, she chose to transfer for her own personal reasons,
Yeah.
and we still love her so much. And I think she would. She has a lot of experience with club volleyball in the US, and she's just a great human being.
All right. Well, we'll get her on. And Damla, thank you so much for doing this. Have a safe trip home and good luck next season.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you and your time. Thank you.